welcome to the Lynn and Scott and the Several Friends show.
I didn't time my coffee sip that well. I was hoping to get a sip in before it ended. Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight on this Tuesday night. Hope everybody is healthy and safe and in good spirits tonight. I know there's parts of the country, Lynn, you're going to share with us that are not so safe right now, but we're hoping the best for everybody. That's what we do.
Yeah, I want to take a moment. I'm not a news watcher, but when things happen in your backyard, you kind of got to watch for a second.
Please.
So we have some flooding in Montana State here. We have Yellowstone National Parks being affected, and right now we're waiting to see within the next half an hour if things are going to recede or if they're going to go over the Yellowstone bridge that Yellowstone River that goes here in Billings. So these are just some pictures that we're going through that you can see in certain areas are just, and I've got to give gratitude and appreciation to Michael Wolf who took these pictures and allowed me to share them. And many bridges are out, many things are going on right now, and so I just didn't want to ignore my backyard with what's
I think a lot of people,
on,
Lynn, heard about, the entrances to Yellowstone is closed and the park is closed,
Yeah.
but there's also a lot of people in harm's way. So let's all keep our thoughts and prayers with those people that their farms and their homes and their lives themselves are safe, and that this can just kind of go past as another weather event and not some sort of tragedy.
Yeah. So, I love our topic today. We got a lot of friends in the background. I don't know if you noticed our new intro. I'm pretty excited about it. We do have one newcomer on the stream here. So I'm going to bring her up first, really, really quick.
I'm going to bring the newcomer in first. All right.
Pamela. Okay. Theodora needs to mute herself. You just need to mute your, hey, this is okay. We're all learning here. Just need to mute the mic on your computer there, Theodora. So this is so funny. So I'm gonna have to bring in the next culprit to the noise we've got here. Theodora and Pamela are in Theodora's backyard. So unmute yourself a second, Theodora. See if that works.
I think it's good now because I moved away.
Oh, okay, good.
And I'm away from them. We were honestly, we were going to be next to each other, having the same background, and see if anybody will notice that we have the same background. But I can't. Technology is not my friend today, and I can't figure out how to use StreamYard on my phone. I'm usually on my computer, and but this is great.
That's okay. Hey,
wait a minute. You're having a backyard party and doing a podcast in your backyard party?
Absolutely.
Why not? Why not?
So before I say anything else here, Bob, would you do the honors and send Flo the link? I would love to have her be a part of the conversation, please. Thank you so much, Bob. Okay, so back to Pamela. I had the honor of meeting her in person when I actually introduced Ken Wells, the keynote speaker, at something that I was a top earner in a company. So I love her. She kind of knows some of my background here. So I love the fact that she's here. I love her. And then they're together. So I should have been there. Luckily I didn't go because there would have been tornadoes in the way and we have all this weather going on. So I'm where I need to be. So anyhow, there's so many exciting people to bring up. I've got Debbie Bettendorf, who I produce her show, Find It. Thank you for being here. And then I've got another author, Barry, that's here. And I'm just going to do these little things. Debbie, this is her book. This is Barry's book. And I'm just so honored of everybody that's here. I'm waiting to bring Bob up here in a minute, but before I do that, for the topic that we have, I want to share this really quick. I did a show today with an amazing man, and he had some wise words, and it just hit home, and I invited him on our show. So look at this little clip from today, and then I'll bring some other people up.
Because happiness and being in love to yourself will put you so calm and so aligned like I said about true north, like Stephen Covey talks about in the 8th habit about aligning yourself. That's the same thing. By loving your life, you're loving what you do, and who you are will permeate outside. Because from inside, if the man is right, the world is right. I talk about this little story. This one preacher was putting together a sermon, and his little boy was disturbing him. So he thought, oh, I got to give him something, so that he can be busy and I can write my sermon. So he found a world map, close by. He tore it out and gave it to his son. And the son, after about 10 minutes, the preacher thought, oh my gosh, he's not going to know where each of the country is and everything like that, right, Lynn? But within 10 minutes or 15 minutes, he came back and the world was put together. Oh my gosh, the preacher said, son, what did you do? How did you know all of these different countries and all the, the water and seas and all that, continents? He says, Dad, when you were tearing off the world, I saw on the back of the map was a man's picture. And I said, if I can put the man together right, the world will be right.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. And welcome to the stage, Vinny Chopra. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh
Mr.
my
Smiley.
gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm humbled to be in such a great company over here. Oh my gosh.
Thank you for being here, sir. You're a star, you're a smile. You may have seen these two girls were in your videos. There you go. So,
Debbie's not that far from where I live, so we're gonna get together. Definitely.
Really?
no, not Debbie.
Oh,
You're thinking
not
of
Debbie.
Jamie. It was Jamie.
Oh,
Jamie's not
Jamie.
here.
I'm like, where are you? Oh, come on over.
And next, I want to bring our birthday girl. If we can all say happy birthday to this
Yay.
one here, Sandra.
Oh,
Happy birthday to you. Cha, cha, cha. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Sandra.
Happy
birthday to
you.
oh, you're brilliant. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Oh boy, this is exciting, and hopefully we have one spot left for Flo, Bob. Hopefully
Wow.
she can make it. This is fabulous. This is a very
Well, she can
important
sit on
topic.
his lap and
Yeah, exactly. Save the spot that way.
They don't threaten me with a good time.
Well, there you go. That's what we're about here. Good time.
Wait a minute. We're talking about self-love here, not, come
And
on.
this is I have him on my laptop, but I didn't have, and I don't mean it that way, you guys. I didn't have his picture to show,
Nice.
so there it is.
Oh.
Gosh, so I'm gonna get in trouble with the girlfriend already. Gee, that's not a good thing to do. So, anyways, happy birthday, Sandra. So,
Thank you.
Scott, you want to go? You want to go with our topic here and how you brought it up and how?
I think
Well-
Flo's trying to get on, just so you know, Lynn.
Oh, good, yay.
Okay.
She said she
All right.
responded. So
Okay, good.
All right. Well, one of the things that, what I thought about, and, this is just, again, off the top of my head, I've got a lot of time between playing my guitar and painting to just think crazy, random thoughts. So forgive me if this is a little bit insane. But what I've always been learned and been taught by people is about how to love everybody, to love yourself, to love other people. One of the few things that we fail at is actually liking people, though. And more importantly, do you like yourself? I could love myself. I love people that I don't like. I love people because they are people in my lives. They all have purpose. I respect everyone that I can respect. But there's very few people that I like. And when I say that, it means, are they the kind of person I want to spend my time with? And what I've never done in my life until these last several years of my self-development is to become that person that I actually like, the person that I like to spend time with, the person that I like to hear the sound of my own voice, not to a narcissistic level, but where I'm not so self-critical all the time. I reached that point where I could tell everybody I love myself and I mean it, but now there's a new plateau where I actually like who I am. I like what I do. And I think that's something that we kind of skip over that. We jump right into the love. We jump right into the whole universe has to come together. We jump right into that and we forget the most basic thing. If I'm in a sandbox, would I bring my red truck and play with me? Would I do that? And a lot of people, the answer is no. They don't like. There's so many things that they don't like about themselves. They'll look past it and love themselves, but they don't like themselves. And I believe that's something that we need to have more of. People need to understand. If you can't be your own best friend, forget about the love. But if you can't just be your own best friend, all of it's for nothing. So I think that's very important. It's something I had to come to in terms with, especially, since the death of my wife and some other things that have happened. I've had to learn how to do those things and to actually realize when I'm just with me, I don't mind because I kind of like hanging out with me. And it also opens me up. The more I accept myself, the more accepting I become of other people. And my circle of like becomes bigger. My circle of love is enormous. My circle of like is slowly expanding. So it's something I thought I would throw out there and see if anybody else has had those kind of thoughts.
Anyone, this popcorn style, anybody want to go first? Let's go for it.
What do you mean? What does that mean, popcorn style?
It's a clubhouse term. I'm sorry.
What does that even mean?
Popcorn means
I'll say something.
Who the hell brought popcorn? I want some.
I'll be the first kernel.
It's in the green room. You weren't down there long enough.
I'll be the first kernel that pops. I have something to say.
I like that. Go for it, Debbie. And by the way, I love your stuff, Debbie. Your show has been fantastic. Your show has been fantastic.
Thank you.
He has a great producer.
Yeah, well, Lynn's like, it better be. I want to say that the book that I wrote was basically just that. The fact that you love yourself on the inside, look great on the outside. And what I mean by that is it doesn't matter how gorgeous of a person you are on the outside. If you don't love who you are, or Scott, like who you are, you're never going to see your own beauty because you don't even really like yourself. Right. So when you see, and I worked a lot with this in the fashion industry, you work with a lot of women who are stunning, but they always think they're too fat, they're too skinny, they have too big of a nose, the clothes don't fit them right. It's just a laundry list of reasons why they don't think they look good when they're stunning, gorgeous human beings on the outside. And I always say, nothing's going to look pretty to you until you love who you are. So that was kind of the inspiration that the reason I wrote the book. And so I really agree with you, Scott. It's a beautiful thing when you can be alone and be okay in the silence with yourself.
Yes.
A lot of times if you're not in a comfortable place with your own self, you stay really busy and distracted because you don't want to have to be alone with yourself in your own thoughts, worries, concerns, whatever the case may be. So for me, it's a matter of, and I'm not saying that I love myself every day, and sometimes I don't like myself every day. And it's a constant mindset of catching myself when I start to be negative about something I didn't accomplish or something I want to do and I didn't, whatever, of checking myself and put myself on the carpet for a second and saying, no, I like who I am and I'm doing just fine and I'm trying and that's great. So that's what I have to say about that.
I like that.
My popcorn. Next popcorn. Next kernel.
So good. I just want to tag on to that because I love what you were just saying at the end there, Debbie. It's not every day, right, that you love yourself or like yourself. Like you're going to have those days where you're just like, man, I'm not feeling it today. Right. But to be able to have that conversation with yourself of it's okay, right? Like I'm just going to accept that for today and know that I'm still, I'm still me and I'm still okay. And I'm going to have one of those days. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And I've been growing so much lately, and I don't mean just in weight size. Ha ha ha. Okay. But
Lynn.
I know I'm stopping. No. But what I'm saying is, Debbie interviewed me on my own show, and that was very profound. And I saw the doctor this month, and I still realized I was a little bit angry of the situation that, being a former athlete and knowing what to do to lose weight isn't going to help me in my condition. And so now being a former bodybuilder and taking that pain and returning it around, now I realize that I have to work out, but I have to be nice to listen to my body and listen to me. And so I'm finding my new footing. And yet, it's funny because I knew, Lynn, I knew you had swelling. I knew you had things going on. But, I was on a stage, Pamela can tell you, in front of over 500 people. And then we were live streaming as well. And, and I realized it wasn't about me. I had to show up and be present for all those other people that can look at me. And in my speaking, I said, look, I'm not happy to be on this stage looking like this. I was as transparent as I could be, but it wasn't about me, and it wasn't about what I look on the outside. I have a team. I have people that count on me, and I had to love and accept myself. That was the part that I've been missing to this point. And I mean, you guys, I'm saying it here. I mean, I love to dance. I'm going to have to do more body image and dance and do what I got to do. And it's going to be hard to look at myself, but I'm loving myself because I know who I am on the inside now. And I think I was blessed with using my own words against me and words judging other people. I got judged the hardest, and it's a humble piece of pie. And because of that, I have to stand and eat whatever it is and know that I do love myself and that I was ignorant before. And so now just bringing awareness that, hey, I was ignorant. I mean, all the things you're thinking, I'm thinking about myself. I've lost 100 pounds 2 times before. And then people had the kahunas to say, gosh, you look good, because before, and they didn't hold bars of what they thought about me. So I'm not just saying this imaginary. I've had many people tell me how they felt when I was heavy, and then I got thin, not thinking that I would get heavy again. So, this is real market research that I know. So now I get to do it again and be more vulnerable and say, you know what, until you know, you don't know. So who's next? Who would like to take the...
It's a great topic. Oh my gosh. Can I just interrupt?
Yes, Vinny. Yes.
I just said the chat. This is a wonderful conversation. I wanted to come in and just kind of be with you all. I do have another prior commitment that I have to leave. But I really want to thank Lynn for, having me bring in here. I appreciate you all, huh? Sure. Huh?
Well, the door is open. You are in our private chat. You can come and go. This is a family. It can come and go.
Sure.
And we just love you accepting our invitation to be here. So we love you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for showing up and being a man of your word.
We'll have you on. We'll have you on again, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Smiley.
Bye-bye.
All right. So anyhow, hopefully Flo is coming. She's such a beautiful soul. I love her already, and I really hope that she can make it now that we're down one person. So
what I want to say about the subject is that in my opinion, it's hard work. It's hard work to reach the point where you accept yourself, like yourself, love yourself, and be able to spend time with yourself and love that. I come from a country that is very judgmental. If you don't look good, people look at you and like, oh my God, ugh. I grew up always having this idea that I have to be thin, that I have to wear high heels, that I have to look good, that I can't go to the store without makeup on, that it was until I came to America that I realized, wait a minute, I do that because I want to feel a certain way, not because people need to see that. Yeah. I wanna love, and I wanna like what I see in the mirror. I'm not dressing a certain way, or I don't wear high heels because somebody expects me to wear that, or somebody's looking at me and will judge me if I'm in flip-flops compared to being in high heels at a store.
You're right,
So,
Theodora. You
right?
wear it for
Absolutely.
you. You
You're
wear it for
right.
you. What makes
You
you
have to
feel
feel
good.
good.
Yes.
Yes, you have to feel good, and you have to accept, and it's work to recognize that and to be able to shift, the belief that the society is going to look at you and think whatever they need to think and they want to think, but you do the work for you. And when you look in the mirror, you have to love what you see for yourself, not because other people think, oh my God, Theodora is in flip-flops today.
Yeah, and I want to
Have you ever gone to Walmart? Who cares?
Try Walmart at 2 a.m.
You know what?
I have
don't
to
care.
tell you, I go to Walmart and I'm embarrassed because I always be like, okay, I cannot go from a business meeting into Home Depot. I need to go home and change first.
But you know what? But you know what? That's
You clip clop right through the store. It's totally fine. No one cares.
you know what? Anymore, people really respect when people are being raw and real. People really accept, say, yeah. Like I was dating some guy and he told me, I was telling a friend, hey, I'm going to dye my hair purple. And he's like, no, you're not. I'm like, what did I do the next day? I had purple hair. So what I'm saying is I had more people say, oh my gosh, your hair looks great. And then I had other people, wow, you really have you really have a lot of nerve to do that to your hair. And it's like they didn't know why I did it. And I was going to say, sometimes you got to realize that you got to stand up for what you believe in, or you have to stand up and say, I have the right to go to Walmart or to the swimming pool, or I have the right to be anywhere else anybody else is. And they're going to have to accept it. And you got to live with yourself. You can't let other people condemn you from where you're at. But I want to take a minute and welcome Flo. She's so beautiful. Thank you for being here.
Let's go with the flows here.
Yes.
Go with the flow.
Yeah. Joe, you got the room to back door. I think I sent it to you.
Oh my gosh, Lynn.
You got to get in here, Mr. Joe.
You walked right into a
Come on
joke.
in, Ingram.
I'm telling you.
What's that?
Joe,
on
you
in.
walked right into a joke right there. I'm telling
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, get over here. Get in the pool. But,
Well, Lynn, if you don't mind, let me talk about something, because Theodora brought something up that's
Yes.
interesting. Is that we do a lot of things to go out of our way because we believe we have to impress other people. And really, it's because we've got self-judgment on ourselves. If you don't have those judgments that exist within yourself, you don't think of other people having those judgments.
That's true.
If somebody
That's right.
calls me an asshole, I get upset. Why? Because there's a part of me that thinks maybe they're right. Maybe I am, and I get defensive. If somebody walked up to me and called me a duckbill platypus, I'm not upset. I'm concerned for them, but but I don't get upset because I don't make those judgments. I know I'm not a platypus. So I think once we suspend self-judgment, and that's why I'm talking about liking ourselves. It goes beyond love. I love people, but I can still judge people I love. But if I truly like somebody, I like everything about them, and then I don't have those judgments. So if I like myself, then if I dress in SpongeBob sweatpants and I go to the store with a Budweiser tank top and flip-flops, and that's how I'm going to walk around, that's who I'm going to be. Not that I would ever dress that way, by the way. Never happened. It just never.
I know there was a picture
Joe
floating around of you in that.
No, let's not make that picture happen.
Joe says I can see the ducky thing in Scott.
But you know what, real quick, and then I'm going to be quiet because other people on here haven't spoken
Yes.
an iota. But I'm really, I don't want to get off topic here, like about clothes or anything like that. But it is a part of how we love ourselves or not is our image, right? Our image in whatever ways. But I want to say, people judge just as harshly if they think you dress up too much as if they see somebody who's a little slouchy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Because
I'm just
like
honoring that space.
yes, to Theodora's point, I dress up and I don't save stuff. Like if I have something I really want to wear, I don't have to have anywhere great to go. If I feel like I want to wear it to make me feel good. And I've had people say, what do you have going on today? I'm going to Kroger. I'm going grocery shopping.
Yeah.
I wanted to wear this. It's totally fine. But people are judgersons, and you
Yeah.
have to be strong enough in your own self-worth, love, self-love, whatever, to be okay with it.
Well, and that's what I had to do. I had to call my own shit and realize, okay, I heard what other people thought, but I said some really mean, naughty things to myself. I disrespected. I was the number one cause of my mental abuse was me. And I had to stop and say, hey, be nice to yourself, because you wouldn't treat Bob or Pam or Theodore or Sandra. I wouldn't treat anybody the way I've treated myself. So that's what I had to come to admission and say, and be vulnerable and say, look, I wasn't very nice to myself, if I'm going to be very honest. And so that's now I'm loving myself and saying, hey, I'm going to be nice to myself, because I wouldn't kick somebody that's down. I mean, I used to walk 5 miles a day, and I'd be the chubbiest one doing that every day. But, I realized I got a condition on my legs. So that's the way it goes. But we do have to realize, go ahead, Barry.
Barry, please.
Two things I want to say. There's a couple of quotes I want to throw out because you've been talking about it all the time. One of which is, if we treated our friends like we treated ourselves, we wouldn't have any.
That's
right.
So let's think about liking other people. The second one is, though, and this is Eleanor Roosevelt, which is basically, what you think of is none of my business. One of the biggest challenges is we think our lives are based upon other people's opinions of us, which is a trap. But the teaching I want to give, something you said, Lynn, about the weight thing. This is something I learned from my master's program years ago, which I love talking about because it's such an understanding point. Is that in our human makeup, so to speak, we tend to function on 3 different levels, which is physical, mental, and emotional. The spiritual is separate from that, but these 3 levels are all tied together. So you imagine like 3 horizontal lines of physical, mental, and emotional. They're all tied together by a median in between. And on one side of the medium is positive experiences. On the other side of the is negative experiences. So, for example, if we wake up in the morning and we stub our toes to get out of bed, we start feeling bad thoughts, we start judging everything, we feel angry. That becomes compounding. And at the same time, if you get out of bed and you see the sun shining, you feel really happy, and you start thinking positive thoughts and you have a great day. We program ourselves that way. But the thing is, with the weight issue, there was a study done this is probably 25 years ago now, where they said that basically that when we release significant amounts of weight, if that weight was put on based upon something we think about ourselves or feel about ourselves, the weight's tied to the emotional and mental baggage that created it in the first place. If we don't deal with that, the weight's going to keep coming back because it's a magnet. Those unresolved things become a magnet for the weight because they're all tied together. And they said that with the weight release programs like Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig, for years they kept discovering that about 95% of people who lost significant amounts of weight put it back on within 5 years until they got coaches.
And that's the cool thing is I used to have the biggest library about weight loss, health, and nutrition than anybody could imagine. But the funny thing is I have a condition that no matter what I eat or exercise isn't going to help. I have a fat disease that's just chunks of fat that will not, it has to be surgically removed from my body. So again, so now I'm humbled with, and I mean, I can have surgery and I can have it all reduced and all this, but it's the point of, you can know how to do things, but if you judge things or if you don't understand something, you're stuck with your eating your words. That's why I'm so impeccable about people. By my example, what I've done, I've built this because I come from a family that wasn't overweight. I was malnutrition growing up even. And so I say all that to say this and be vulnerable is that it's not always what you think that can fix it. I mean, I knew gastric bypass wasn't going to help me because if I get gastric bypass, the fat in my legs are still not going to go away. Gastric bypass does not work that. So what I'm saying is I'm educating people because this is 1 out of 10 women that go through what I'm going through right now. And I happen to be on stage 4. I wish I was diagnosed earlier, but I'm not. So I'm just saying, but I'm using this as an example with anything else in life. When you judge and you're surrounded by people that teach you these things, and it's one of those things that we've just got to realize that we've got to be careful of how we say and we talk to ourselves, because then you're stuck in a condition that, I know how. I used to work out 6 hours a day and loved it. But my thunder thighs are not going to go away. I've got about 50 pounds I can personally lose, and then the rest is whatever. So now I'm having fun and a blessing to see how I can transform the way I know how to. And I'm going to start that here soon and share it with everybody, but also my journey with everything. And so I just think it's very important for people to know that we do need to love ourselves and understand ourselves, because once we do, we can have compassion for everyone else when we don't know the whole story about things. That's all.
Let me just throw something out there, because I always make fun. I always have fun with Barry. I always pick on Barry and his Jamaican accent, and I always. But I got to tell you, my friend, is you really nailed something important there that I think people need to understand. When people are dealing with issues of weight, whether it be a lack thereof or excess, what they need more than a gym is usually EMDR or some sort of psychoanalysis, or some sort of psychotherapy, because we are locked in by our self-hatred or self-loathing or a bad reflection of ourselves that we see. And until you correct that, that will always reoccur. So I like that. Listen, putting air in a tire, until you actually fix the hole, it's going to continue to go flat. You can fix it for a little while, but I absolutely applaud what you said and how you said it, Barry, because that is really, really true. A lot of people don't think that way. They think if I go to the gym, I take the weight off, it'll stay away. It won't, because that's not where the problem lies. The problem never lied there. It lied up here. And, but that's another part of, do we like ourselves? Do we accept ourselves? Are we comfortable enough with ourselves to give ourselves constructive criticism? Debbie was talking about there's days when you're not feeling it. And I think Pamela brought it up too. There's days when I'm not so much. I look at myself, I say, hey, I don't like a whole lot of what you're doing today, but then I could give myself constructive criticism and the next day do something better. It's about growth, and it's about being kind. And if somebody you care about is doing something that's not healthy, you tell them about it. You're not mean. There's no brutal honesty. There's no such thing as brutal honesty. There's brutality and honesty. They're two different things. But I really want to hear from Sandra. Is it really your birthday, darling?
Birthday. Yay. It is.
Is it me or you that has a connection that's breaking up?
Is it me?
I think you were breaking up for a second. You sound good now.
Good now?
Yeah, go for it.
Hear me now? Yeah. Go for it. All right. Yeah.
No, you're still breaking up.
Okay, I'll go out.
Yeah, come back in. Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, great, I have a chance to talk, and now my mic's broken.
That was it. She had her chance. It's over. It's done.
Yeah, see you later, Sandra. Happy birthday.
You got a shitty microphone. You're out. I'm sorry. That's it. We have standards on this show, believe it or not.
Bob, not picking
Bob,
on
you've
you
been really quiet.
Yeah.
I'm a listener.
Yeah, well, it's time for you to talk.
I think one of the things that I would strongly suggest is the language that we have, because one of the things I find in all the years of human behavior is that we often say, I'll be happy when I have X amount of money. I'll be happy when I lose weight. I'll feel better about myself. I'll like myself. I'll love myself when. And anytime we say that, anytime we say something will be different when, it precludes it ever being different now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so we have to be really careful about that. And I think the second thing is we have to, realize that it happens in increments. It's not all of a sudden you wake up and I love myself. I like myself. I'm totally okay with myself. It happens in increments. So
that's how I ended up married.
Yeah. So to that point, I would draw the attention to find the things that you do like about yourself. Pick 1, 2, 3 things. And if there's something that stands out that you don't like about yourself, then address that one thing. Rather than trying to change the whole painting of this picture, do it in increments, because that's the way it's going to get resolved. It's not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to happen all at one time, and it's not going to happen. Every aspect of your life is going to change in one moment. So bite it off in little increments to make sure that you understand that it's in a process. It's not all at one time. And then also really, identify what it is about yourself that you like, dislike, and then start changing one at a time.
I love it. Thank you, Bob. Thank you so much. Flo, is there anything
you're
you'd
trying
like
to say? No multitasking.
I've never met somebody who's really great at multitasking, although they always say they are.
He doesn't even
True.
like the term multitasking. So
If you believe somebody's really good at if they believe they're good at multitasking, start talking to them while they're doing something else. And when they go, hold on, it tells you they're not really great at multitasking.
You know,
Well, I can pay attention.
I
took
took I took a test to work at an alarm monitoring center. You had to do 3 to 5 different things, and you had a recording, and you literally had to listen, do this and this and that just to get the job. It was, I mean, I got it, but it was one of those things. That was before I became a peace officer. So I was like, yeah, you'd really be surprised at what you can't do when you're multitasking.
Yeah.
Joe says multitasking, easiest way to do to half-ass 2 things at once. Yeah.
Right.
Joe, didn't you just say that you're on this while you're at a
Yes,
client?
I
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
I bet he is the one that's like
He's
squirrel.
sneaking in.
Uh-huh.
Oh my
We
gosh.
all love Joe.
Yeah, you do. He's one of
Keep
good
piping
friends.
in, Joe. We're going to give it back to you tonight. We're just feeling that kind of way.
So the gauge, I mean, I've done leaps and bounds since January on growing and realizing my tender spots and correcting this and helping people along the way with this situation. So have you guys moved the needle for yourselves personally? I'd like to ask that question. I mean, because one book and what's really helped me, and I'm going to go back to reread it, and I suggested to Debbie, is The Power of Now is a very good place to start. Personally, that's where I think. So I'm going to go back to that as well, because anybody else read The Power of Now? Isn't that just
couple? You got a couple.
And Barry, yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. So
Sandra's back.
Yes,
By the way,
welcome back.
Hello. Is that
Brother
better?
Lynn.
Oh,
You
that's so
got
much
the
better.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So basically, here's
Sorry,
the
go
thing.
ahead, Barry.
You read the book. Don't do the audio version. The audio version push you to sleep.
Oh.
No, yes, it
Sorry,
can,
the
but
power of now.
yeah.
Am I breaking up or am I okay?
No,
No,
you're
I
No, you're
didn't
good.
hear
You're
you.
good.
I recommended the audio to
His voice. I've heard him lecture. He's very good at putting people to sleep. His voice is very wonderfully has that wonderful tone. So as I say, read the book. It's better for you that way. You can focus on it more easily.
Pamela just said if you read any book, she would listen to it.
I did.
I love that.
maybe you should be a voiceover there, Barry.
It's that Jamaican accent. I'm telling you right now.
And he wrote
Thank
this
you,
book.
Cut. Yes,
50
I did.
ways to love you, lover.
So question, is that an audible written or read
Not
by
yet.
you?
Not yet.
It is?
Not yet, he said.
Oh, not
yet.
I think you
Not
got
yet.
a list, waiting list happening now.
Hey, I've got lots of podcasts I've been on, lots of videos I've done. People can hear my voice all over the place.
I wanted
my
to
God.
share, Lynn.
I
that-
have a room full of salespeople drawing duckbill platypuses, comparing it to Scott. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well, hey, at least he's not having people draw dead people. That's
Oh,
that's a
don't.
roundabout joke that Joe
There's all the
said.
dead people on my wall that I painted behind me. So
Yeah, and Joe was on the show once, and he goes, "Do me a favor, don't draw my picture."
yeah. Joe, I'm going to paint you next week, brother.
Ooh.
Get your affairs in order, buddy. You're going on my wall.
Oh my gosh.
So what were you trying to say earlier, Sandra?
Sandra.
Well, we've kind of moved forward, so I'm like, okay, I'm trying to land my plane. You know what? It's for me in the earlier conversations. We were talking, and I really appreciate this, Debbie, because sometimes and this is just raw and real, because I do like to have a certain image. I like to be put together, but some people judge me, go, "Oh, you're too put together," or "You always look, this." It's just who I am. I remember I grew up always saying, you never know who you're going to meet. If you want to be successful, like genuinely from your heart, not what others are telling you. But I learned this, that if you feel good, you look good, it's just you're vibing at a higher frequency. And, I don't feel comfortable wearing sweats or things like that, because it's just like, even on the golf course, I'm like, I like to look good. So, Debbie, it really resonates with me because some people can just think, oh, she's fat, she's snooty, whatever. Where I'm the most open, fun kind of, gal. I'm doing these quirky things all the time, but people see, oh, well, you look a certain thing. And, one of the things I always champion people to think about is what are the words that you're using? Just take a week and write down all the words you use for yourself and the words that you use for others. And then I love what Daniel Goldsmith always talks about is the future feed forward, not feedback, but future feed forward. So if you want to learn or grow or change something, go ask somebody, hey, this is one area I want to grow in. Do you have any future advice for me on how I can grow, expand, or whatever? And then it's not negative. And these words, these ways of being really help. And that was part of my first kind of moment of awakening of who the heck I was, and then I just changed my story. So that's what I want to kind of land.
I love that. And Scott, we got to be mindful because we got a podcast too. So Joe Ingram says, I use the word sexy a lot and he knows it.
Sexy and you know it.
And it's funny because I've got Debbie and Sandra and I'm producing their shows, but I chose this for Sandra's intro because Sandra is more 3D and so is Debbie. I mean, I'm producing two women that are amazing. They're like my best friends and other people need to see why they're my friends. And I just love this little video of hers.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Heart Podcast with Sandra J. Horton, the Growth Catalyst.
And speaking of the growth catalyst, you guys, I share the shows when they're on. I just share them on my page, but I got to tell you, Sandra is a great, and not that Debbie isn't because she is too, but Sandra, I ask her to go out of her comfort zone and she's done some really cool things like going to TikTok for her guests and dancing with them. I mean, she is just a great student. And Debbie will be doing some fun stuff too, but it's great to work with these ladies. And I'm super honored that they hired me to make them look good. So
we love
and Joe's
you,
finally
Lynn.
Noticing Pamela here.
Hi, gorgeous Joe Ingram. He just wanted me to say that.
Is he going to pay you? Is he Venmoing you right now?
Wow. We're going to start lying on this show, then I don't know where we're going to go.
Flo, do you love yourself, Flo? Do you love yourself?
Yes.
Do you like yourself?
Yes.
She's beautiful inside and out.
I want to hear what you tell me
It's
something.
a daily work. You just have to wake up and do the gratitude and the reflection. And yes, you have to. So.
Yeah.
And I can tell you personally that one of the things I appreciate and value most about her is that she's constantly working at being the next best version of herself. And so she's never satisfied with just liking herself today, but is she going to like herself even more tomorrow?
She's absolutely beautiful. And we haven't even gotten to talk or get to know each other, but it's just your essence. It's just who you are.
Energy.
And I just, yes, it's just beautiful. And
Yeah,
I mean,
really,
Bob's not
really.
even paying me to say this. I just sincerely.
Yeah, this is coming from the heart.
So I love you guys sharing and being here together. It means a lot to me, you guys. It really does. I felt like I was in Bob's hot seat the other day in an interview on Monday, but you know what? I put it all out there.
You did great.
I was being transparent as I can. Flo is like the human personification
personification of peanut brittle.
Say what?
She's a little cracked.
Oh, Joe.
For you, Joe, we love you too.
Joe didn't answer the question. Joe needs to answer the question. He was asked something. Joe, answer the question. Don't diverse the subject.
What was the question?
Does he like himself? Right?
Joe, do you like yourself?
Debbie asked Joe.
Yeah, he said he associates the word sexy with himself. That's all.
Come on, you can do better than that. Answer the question.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Look, he's away now. He's like, I'm gonna run for
Oh
the
yeah, I'm
hills.
busy right now. I'm busy right now.
Yeah,
You guys, I love you so
Bye.
much. The battery on my phone is running down so quick, and I
then
can close much.
go shut off from there and go stand next to Pam, and we got you right next to Pamela. There you
I'll
go.
just do that.
Let's see how far you got to travel. Tell me you ran 5
Okay,
miles to
ready?
be next to her. Okay,
Joe
ready?
gave us an answer. Joe gave us an answer.
Oh, he did.
Joe says
Go ahead.
it took many years to get to the point of saying yes, I do.
Oh, he's actually being genuine and serious. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, look at you guys together.
There you
That's
go.
cute.
Yes, I love this. I should have been there.
I'm
with
feeling
those
left
guys.
out. How about you, Sandra, Barry, and
I know. I'm like,
Lynn and
hey.
Scott?
I'm in frickin' Florida. I'd be a miracle worker to get next to anybody that fast.
I'm in Canada, in
Okay,
Vancouver,
we'll share.
other
Oh.
coast.
You put in one.
How do we?
Yeah,
You know-
everybody.
Lynn, that's great. So the next is live in the now, and what was the what's the second part?
You mean the power of now?
No, where are we going next?
Oh, where are
Where
we
are we
going,
going
next? With loving yourself? Did
Getting
everybody
present.
answer the question as far as how do you feel? Have you moved the needle
Oh yeah,
more
that's a good
with
question.
loving yourself? Have you acknowledged? I mean, I knew I felt I was complete until I realized when I finally got my medical condition certified thing. I was like, okay, it's not about excuses. It's about this is where I'm at, and I'm going to love it. And I'm not going to convince anybody, but I need to educate people to not feel stuck. And you really got to really look into yourself and say, why don't I love myself? And why am I judging these things? And it's really important to dig that out because it's an inside job. Like you hear me say all the time, Sandra.
Yep.
And whatever you don't bring out will come out like a zit. It'll come out like
Or a couple
something
ex-husbands.
That's an ew.
Now, be nice, be nice. Everything comes back to you. I'm actually sitting behind Scott right now.
but it's so true
What the
though,
hell?
Lynn. Like that's the thing. Patterns show up. Like whether you just change your different, your smaller, younger self needs to be healed. You need to love on her, him, however you identify. Give yourself a hug and say it's okay, but you don't need to stay there too long. That's the truth. You can look back, understand your story, and then recreate. Look and say, I have these resources. What am I prepared to release and let go? Like flush it out. Goodbye. Good riddance. And a lot of people get there and they stay there. And what we all do, especially this amazing group, is to say, okay, what is that new ideal self? Who am I? What is my vision? What is it that my purpose? And the only way I have found truly to go inside is to connect, release, and let go and have faith and trust in something bigger than yourself.
Okay,
Connect to your heart, your mind.
I love that. I love that.
I love
But
that.
There you go.
You know what? There's something cool about when you travel back, though, because if you're looking at your childish self, there's something innocent, pure, and more honest in a child than there is in an adult. You ask a child that's 4 or 5 years old, what makes you happy? They will start rattling off the list of a lifetime, from pizza to ice cream to Transformers to boogers, whatever it is. They will just give you a list. What makes you ask an adult, what makes you happy? The first thing that happens is they stop and think. They stop and think because they're not connected with that part of themselves anymore. They stop and think because they think there's a right answer, because they want to give an answer that's going to impress you, not the truth. And so what we need to do is bring that childhood honesty forward into our lives if we're going to be happy people, so that when I look at myself, I can say, this makes me happy. Dressing, if I want to dress up to go somewhere, I do it because it makes me happy. And if other people look at me and say, you're all dressed up, that's like me going to work dressed as Batman, but saying, if anybody talks about Batman, I'm going to kick their ass. I walk in and I answer the phone, I'm Batman, and I do the whole thing. And then somebody says, you're dressed like Batman, and me getting upset. Why am I getting upset?
Yeah.
If it's what I wanted, then accept everything that comes with it. And as a child, I would own it.
Gotta own it.
Own it. Some people like walking around. I love walking around. It's like I got two looks. Broke and more broke. Those are my two looks, and that's what I love. I used to wear suits and ties. I can't stand it anymore. People ask me to wear a tie. I won't do it. I wouldn't wear one at my daughter's wedding. I won't. It's not me anymore. But I also have to accept the fact some people are going to say, well, that's wrong that you're not wearing a tie. And I can't get angry about that because it's me. But I honestly believe we need to go back and revisit our childhood and remember how easy it was to know ourselves back then and how hard it is to know ourselves now and bring that forward with us.
You know what, Scott? I would challenge, sorry, Lynn, I would challenge the wording on that because it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. You can make a choice right here, right now to say, let's make it easy. Let's just make the choice. So I think we have to be very mindful of, just a little challenge back on that because it doesn't have to be hard. We always say these words, it's hard. If we think it, we say it, it is it.
I'm saying traditionally, as a tradition, it's difficult for people to make that connection. It doesn't have, I agree with you. It doesn't have to be because the easiest thing in the world is to let go of something. All you got to do is release. It's the easiest thing in the world, but we make it the hardest thing in the world. It doesn't have to be. I agree with you 1,000%. You're absolutely right. We make it hard, but the truth is it doesn't have to be. It's as simple as release the tension, release the fear, release everything else, and we'll see who we are on the inside.
I'll have a big breath now.
You know what's real perfect to say? This is a cheap plug, but I think this is fitting for right now. What we all need to do is this.
We need to find it.
That's right.
Find it. I don't know what you need to find, but you go find it.
So Scott, you want to start wrapping this up?
Nobody here is ashamed of a cheap plug. We'll all take it whenever we can. Don't worry about it.
Thanks,
Don't worry about it.
Where's Joe?
I just sent her a text and told her I'd give her a bonus.
If any of us had any shame issues, we wouldn't be doing this shit right now. Okay, that's just the way it is.
So Scott, you want to wrap this up? And
I will wrap this up and say that that the goal in my life is as I journey outward and learn more about the world, I also have to make that journey inward and learn more about me and how I fit in and where my place is and where I want my place to be. It's not written by anybody else. It's written by me. But it doesn't work unless I like who I am. It doesn't work unless I accept who I am. I play guitar. I grab, this is a pick. I grab a pick and I start playing. And then these fingers have to make chords. And if I decide I don't like this finger right here, this one in the middle, and I decide I'm not going to accept it anymore, I'm not going to use it anymore, I'm not going to be a part of it anymore, I can't make the same music. I need all of it. So I need to look at me, the good, the bad, the indifferent, decide that it all comes together in a way that makes me who I am and say that that's okay and to correct the things I want to correct, but most importantly, to like myself and have fun, be a friend that I want to hang out with, be somebody that I want to be with. Because if I'm being somebody I don't want to be with, wow, that's a really hopeless place to be. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay. So if we could go ahead, starting with Barry, and then we'll go Sandra, and then we'll go to the couple in the middle and over to Debbie.
Serpentine.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Yeah, backwards. So if we could take a minute and reflect how much do you like yourself and your takeaways on this, that would be great. Barry?
For me, it's been a journey for sure. And yes, that thing about turning off the outside voices to listen to ourselves, coming from a very, I spent a lot of time in my teens being bullied. I was convinced by them to think differently about myself.
Oh, man.
So the work I started doing in my 20s and beyond with all the personal development work wasn't to be better in the world. It's about being better in here. Yes. And frankly, I'm grateful for the journey I've been on because I've done a lot of work with self-love, but also appreciating who I am and having things happen. What I'm discovering, by the way, is the more I'm enjoying being with myself and being and liking myself, the easier things out there get. It's really strange the way that works. So I'm loving this journey, and I definitely am happier with who I am now than I was any decade before this. Wow. So
well said.
Beautiful.
Well said. Beautiful.
I love that.
Sandra.
Oh, you know what, Barry, we share some of similar stories. I know, being a childhood sexual assault survivor, now thriver with codependency and victimization, I just wanted to respond to T and say, those of us who have gone through that or similar types of journeys, just by showing up, by being authentic and being vulnerable and being that role model to say you can and you are able to overcome. And that's the key truth. It just takes a choice. The other beautiful thing is surround yourself by beautiful, like-hearted, positive mindset. Find the resources within yourself and around you to allow others to help support you as you go through your beautiful journey. And I think the other important key for today is, look yourself in the mirror and just become. We know about, living your life from the wish fulfilled. Imagine yourself in your beautiful, ideal state and then become it. Remind yourself, find those beautiful resources, those little golden nuggets in you, and then practice it, become it. Because that's what, most people do and have gratitude for everything that's around you. So thank you. I land my plane.
Sandra D, birthday girl.
That's right.
Birthday girl.
Bob and
I'm
Flo.
59.
Flo.
Bob and Flo in the center square.
Was like
Over to
the
you.
Hollywood
There you go.
Squares.
Partridge Family or something.
Yes. Brady Bunch.
Brady Bunch. Anyway,
Oh, I love it.
Everyone was talking, I was reflecting about how we're all work in progress. But we're all part of the child, the mother, and then the matriarch, or the teacher. And if we all have that daily with our work and our play, it seems we can balance ourselves a little bit more. And who cares what everybody else thinks? I mean, like, I know Debbie was saying, have you been to Walmart? I was like, yeah, they don't
We're
care.
fine. We've
Right.
got this.
And just look within is what I was getting from today's takeaway. Look within and don't care what everybody else is thinking.
Thank you, Flo. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Lynn.
I mean, my thoughts would be along the lines of be absolutely real with yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Don't romanticize a fault. Don't make it sound better than it is. It is what it is, period. Stop. I think the biggest challenge I've ever found with people who say they want to change and they don't is because they hold on to an idea that this part of them is really better than it is. If you're broke, you're broke.
Yeah.
Now go about fixing it. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things I have to say is we have to be brutally honest. And I know I loved what you said about brutal and honest, Scott. We just have to be in such a way that we can examine what really is, not what we want it to be, not what we, as Tony Robbins says, don't think, don't wish things were better than they were or worse than they were. Just look at it as exactly as it is.
Yeah.
And I think if we can look at exactly what needs to be improved, exactly where we're broken, then we can start the healing. And I look at that as not just myself, but my clients, my friends, my family. It's like, don't just buy into the romanticization of their brokenness. Help them heal.
Well said.
Thank you, Bob.
Excellent.
Thank you. It's
Excellent.
an honor to have you guys here. I feel it means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Beautiful Debbie.
Hello. I'm sitting there. You guys are amazing. Everything that you've said, and it's all so true and so honest. I guess for me, I can't say that I've never liked myself, but I can say that I'm finding myself now, because I think I'm saying, "Hey, Debbie, how are you? Who are you?" And then I'm like, "Oh, I'm figuring that out. I'm finding that out right now." I was a mom, a wife, and I delved into them so much that I kind of lost my identity or didn't really know who Debbie fully was. And so part of the book was because I was finding myself. And so, and I'm finding that I like myself and I like who I'm becoming. And it's a journey for sure. But I think if anyone else that's listening if it resonates with them, that all of a sudden I'm just kind of like, I was like aimlessly going along with my own personal self. and was Dalton and Tori's mom and David's wife. And now I'm like, oh gosh, I'm in this next chapter of my life. I got to figure out who I am.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm doing. And I do believe I like myself. I know that I like everybody. I was telling Lynn today, I can't think of anyone I just don't like. But like, and what you said, Scott, I like to spend time with some and not necessarily other, because, you know, you can take some people in small doses. But it doesn't mean that I don't like them. I appreciate everyone's, you know.
Are you talking about Joe?
And I'm talking about Joe.
He hasn't been around lately.
He keeps me laughing. I keep him
love
around.
Joe.
But anyway, that's my deal.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thanks, Deb.
I love you. Pamela, our
My turn. Okay,
new
yeah,
girl on the
so-
block.
Well, one thing I wanted to say really quick before I say what I'm supposed to say is that backing up to the book suggestion, there's also a like abbreviated version of The Power of Now, which is called Practicing the Power of Now, which is wonderful. I mean, it's very small, but it's succinct and it's kind of easy. You know, I mean, you can read little bits at a time, but it gets to the point. And I really like that book a lot. So if you're just kind of getting started on the Eckhart Tolle journey, it's actually a good place to start, and kind of, you know, you get your toes wet that way. But so for me, it's definitely been a long journey of learning to love and like myself. And for me, the book that really jump-started that was The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown. That was a big eye-opener for me. And I realized, oh my gosh, you know, I actually don't have to be perfect, right? Because that was kind of like the world that I grew up in. And that was like I was mind blown by that. Right. And it's been so much fun to like step out of that space. Oh, hi, Joe Ingram's #1 fan.
How you doing?
So awesome to see you here.
Very.
So go ahead,
You bet.
Theodore, then we'll go down to this character below.
I want to answer your question. So the topic and the subject was, you know, in our conversation, how much do you like yourself? And I want to say it matters where you start. If it's a little or a lot, start somewhere. Look in the mirror and figure out something. If it's a little thing, if it's just the hair and not the shape of your body, if it's just the color of your eyes, but not the hairstyle. If it's whatever it is, start little so you can start somewhere, so you can give yourself permission to grow and really learn how to love yourself. But you have to start by liking yourself and go from small to big and to full success.
Excellent.
I love that, Theodore.
Very
I
good.
love that.
Thank you.
And now we have Mr. Mark Rodriguez,
Hey
my
guys, how are
online
you?
husband, aka Joe Ingram's #1 fan.
So the topic tonight is what we love about ourselves. Why do we love ourselves? What's the topic?
The
How
topic
much
was simply, do you like
love
yourself?
yourself? Yeah.
I love myself. I absolutely love. I love the fact that I was endowed
Pórtate bien,
with a
pórtate
big
bien.
heart. I am. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Lynn, what? I have a
I
big
just said
heart.
in Spanish, behave yourself. Just so
I
you
am
know.
behaving. Oh my gosh. But I really need that pre. No, listen. With all the adversity you've gone through in the past couple of years, losing my mom and dad, losing various family members, you know, I think I got it from Willie Jolly. I heard him say this. I know he got it from someone else. You know, we all go through setbacks in life, right? But if you look at it, if you look at a setback as a setup for a comeback, then you listen. So long as you can look up and get up, you have choices. There are people who did not wake up today. There are people. I have a very dear friend of mine, 40 years young, died of a heart attack, left behind 3 young babies, and it puts things in perspective. I mean, no matter how big your problems are, man, it's better to have a problem than to not be around, right? And so each day is a gift. And so I love what Lynn is doing, what you guys are doing. You're spreading this you're kind of pollinating the world with great vibes. Got great people here. Got Theodora. We got Debbie. And again, with Debbie, I the fact that she shares my ex-wife's name, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. I love Debbie. She's awesome. Bob Donnell, everyone here, just quality people. So I'm humbled and blessed to be here. So I'm loving myself despite the knee pain, all the stuff I'm going through. I'm struggling with weight. I'm struggling with this. But you know what? It's called life. And it's an opportunity to get to impact other people's lives through connections, through what does it cost to pick up your phone and send someone a text, I love you, right? I'm thinking about
there you go.
How are you feeling? And you never know who is going to receive that message. Like, wow, I needed to hear that. So
you know what I think
he blows me away. I just going by the name that he uses, Joe Ingram's #1 fan, you would assume every decision he makes is a bad one, but it doesn't look like that. Apparently, apparently there's one small piece.
You guys, the fact that he came on here and said we're pollinating the world with high vibes. I love that. Is that what I gotta watch that back? That's a hashtag.
Yeah.
Right. Your vibe is your tribe.
That's
your
right.
Vibe is your
There you
tribe.
go.
I like the pollinating the world with high vibes. That's what we're doing here today. That's awesome.
Love it.
Well,
Lynn, what do you say? Lynn?
I know every one of you guys. Flo, I got to get to know better, and it makes my heart sing and be happy because they obviously see the transformation I'm making and that I have been making. Pamela, most of all, she and Scott, they've known me about the longest out of all of you guys. That's why I say that. And so, I'm just blessed to say that, when you do love yourself, people can see that you come from love, and it's an inside job. You got to take care of, you love yourself. And when I thought I loved myself enough, I realized I didn't. And I'm fixing that now because it's a blessing to me to realize, to empathize with other people and to actually change my perspective of not only what I thought and talked to myself, but my perspective to realize why other people are stuck. And along the way, I want them to know that they too don't need to think, well, I can't do what Lynn's doing. Anybody can do what you want to do. It's just your mindset, and you got to take action. And so with that, again, I'm so honored that you all take time to be here and just realize the ripple effect. This show started with Scott and I, and we're honored that you guys take time to be here. We are just too honored. And I didn't do an outro yet, but today we changed our intro to this, and I'm going to go outro with it. And I've got people
I just want to let everybody know I won't be here next week. I won't be here next week. Unfortunately, I'm going to be in Panama City training some people, working with the fire department up there. It's a great thing. So I think, Debbie, you're going to sit in my spot, right?
Debbie's going to be
I'm Scott.
All right.
Yes, she's going to be my Scott next
we'll
year.
Miss you.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. If I get a chance to tune in, I will, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be on a flight or if I'm going to be driving around looking for addresses. I don't know where I'm going to be. But I'll be somewhere doing something that I care about. That's the only thing that matters.
There you go.
And thank to all the people who have been watching and commenting as well. Thank you guys. And if anybody's looking in a mirror feeling bad or something like that, remember, you're the one who's writing the story of your life. If you don't like the chapter, start to rewrite it and change it. Whatever you want it to be, you get to make it. And if everybody could realize that, we'd all be a whole lot happier.
Yeah, the world would be, it's a ripple effect. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close out with the intro, and I have like Pamela and Flo to add to this. And I'm excited because as people just stop by, they're going to be added to this wonderful list of people that we really appreciate for being here. So again, thank you guys. God bless you guys. I love you from the bottom of my heart. And hopefully next week, and we'll start putting in our back thing any topics that we want to talk about as a whole, not just from Scott and I. So again, thank you for being here. It's an honor. And you guys wait right till after this. So hold on.
Love you guys.
Now I can close it because I wanted everybody to know how special everyone here, and that will be our outro next week. So love you guys. Hold on.
Keeping me safe and sound, and when I fall, you tied a rope to me.